It is your
You want me to lead? It is your Classic Metal Show
Right.
here on the ClassicMetalShow.com.
I don't know. I think it's my processor.
Can you unplug from it?
Just trying to get it to connect for some reason. I don't know what it is. It's weird.
Can you just unplug for it?
Well, not at the moment.
All right. Now I'm
See,
on.
yeah. So it's just like goofing up on me tonight. It's just like disconnects or something.
Right. Do I sound echoey to you?
No, not at all.
All right. Well, it's echoing on my end, but as long as you don't hear it, I don't care.
No, I don't hear a thing.
All right. Good.
All right. Well, anyway, that is Joe Town. Now, we debuted those guys years ago. You know what? Actually, we debuted those guys, Pills and Ammo.
Yeah.
Didn't they have like something on like iTunes? Didn't they debut big on iTunes or something when they came out?
Yeah, they were like number 1 on iTunes or something when they came out. Boy, that didn't mean much, did it?
Yeah. So no, it's just that when we debuted them and we had them on the show, they kind of like did something, you know, that most bands don't do. That for an unknown band, they got a lot of exposure.
Yeah, they did right off the bat.
Yeah, right off the bat via the iTunes, and then they just kind of went away.
Yeah, they went exactly nowhere. But I love that disc. That's a disc that it's never left my player, man. I love that. I don't know if you listen to it at all, really, but that's a fucking good rockin' disc.
I agree. I mean, it's been a while since I've heard it because it was so long ago. How long ago was that?
That's got to be like 2008 or something.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been like 7-8 years. I'm quite sure it's not a band anymore.
Sure, absolutely. So anyway, we talked to our friend Sammy Lee, and they've got their I shouldn't say debut, but their EP out. It's going to be out soon to where you can get it.
Right.
And Sammy, been a fan of the show for years and participates in the chat room, and he's a blue collar. He's just a working guy like us, just trying to balance home life, work life, and the thing that he does on the side, kind of like what we do.
All right, so let's just play this game. Is Sammy married or single?
Damn it. I don't know. I don't know, to be honest with you. I think he's married. Okay. I'm pretty sure he's married.
All right. So he's married. Let's say the record has like nominal success.
Sure.
Not awesome success, but like enough that it puts less money in his pocket than he currently makes with his gig.
Sure.
How long before the divorce?
Well, that is a good question because I guess, Sammy has his own business.
Yeah.
So kind of like you.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is could Sammy possibly accept a opening gig with, let's see, who would they be compatible with? Who's a touring act?
They could tour with like Godsmack.
Okay.
I would think, don't you think?
Sure.
Volbeat or bands like that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about someone in the States that they could open for. Not a little club tour, but maybe like on a shed tour who does like a summertime thing that they could get some exposure. Who could they open for? You mentioned Godsmack. Obviously, Godsmack is a shed size band.
Yeah, or Volbeat too now.
Are they? I haven't followed Volbeat enough to know if they have that enough appeal here in the States.
Yeah, they're fairly big these days, man.
How about your favorite Hailstorm?
Yeah, they could Hailstorm be the same size, sure.
Yeah. So let's just say they got hooked up with a Hailstorm.
Mm-hmm.
And they could go out on a 30-day tour.
Okay.
And they get to open up for, what does an opening act get unless it's a buy-on? What do you think?
How much money do they get?
Yeah, like what, $5 a night? $5,000?
$5,000?
Is that a lot? Is that too much?
That's for a band that has no history. $500 maybe.
$500 to open.
Yeah, I would. What was Hannon getting when he was opening for Tesla?
I don't know. I don't know what they were getting for Tesla.
Probably about between $500 and $1,000. But it's an exposure tour.
Yeah, well, I get it, and the thing is that we had, when we did the show at the Man Palace for your book release party,
right?
Randy was getting $500 a night as a tribute band back in 2001.
Right, but the name Guns N' Roses will draw out that money.
Sure. So even in 2001, 15 years ago, the bands are still only getting $500 a night.
They're not getting a whole lot more unless they're an established band. They're not getting more.
Okay.
They're not. He's not going to go out there and get $5,000 a night. No fucking way.
No.
Not unless there's a song on the radio that is in the top 15.
Okay, so if they're playing a shed, kind of like Blossom or something, they're still only getting $500 a night.
Oh yeah. Unless they have something that's on the radio and bringing 10,000 a night, they're not getting 5,000 a night.
Okay.
No chance.
Not even 1,000.
1,000 maybe, depends on the band.
All right. Well, let's say 1,000 a night.
Okay, so $30,000 for a month
between 4 guys.
Really 6 because you're going to have roadies. You're going to have at least 1 or 2.
Yeah,
roadies.
Of course. You're going to have some stage crew out there.
So figure 2 guys on top of that, so 6.
So 1,000 a night, and plus you probably got all the expenses of traveling and hotels and meals and all that other stuff. So each guy is going to get $100 a night
on a good night when the catering's not being watched.
Right,
they eat for free.
They're not going to do a Jason Newsted and just start taking food.
Dude, you know what? Everybody makes fun of that, and I saw it firsthand, and I made fun of him directly to his face, and he said it point blank. He said, I'll be the one that still has money.
Sure.
And, I guarantee you right now he still has money.
Right. So yeah, $100 a night is not going to pay the mortgage.
No, hell no.
Well, I guess if you're going to live your dream, and say, you know what, this is my one shot. I guess you have to take that gamble.
Yeah, you take the gamble hoping for that the exposure leads to a song hitting on the radio.
Sure.
And you get the second tour offer. I'll point to a band that I absolutely despise, which is Mushroom Head.
Okay.
They went out for like peanuts. And I mean, they have 33 guys in the band or whatever. And the first time they went out nationally, they toured with Wasp.
Right.
And what a mismatch that is. But they toured with Wasp the first time they went. And I think they were getting like $700 to $1,000 a night.
Wow.
But the exposure got them a single. They had a single that hit on the radio, on like specialty radio at the time, which is like your House of Hair and that kind of shit. Your not your mainstream formula.
Yeah, but it's like a selective spotlight.
Yeah, every commercial station has it, usually on weekends.
Sure.
They have the specialty programming. And so they had a song that hit, and then out of that, then they started getting $2,000-$3,000 a night. And then it grew from there as they had a couple more hits.
Sure. So it was a gamble that paid off.
For them, yes.
Well, again, you have to sacrifice for your craft, I guess, because, obviously, this show is 20 years old. And I've never gone into it with any kind of a revenue hope that, man, I hope someday I hit big.
Right.
Yeah, that's never been the issue with me.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody had come along at some point and offered me something, yeah, that would have been a big thrill.
Right.
But as the objective of doing that, never even crossed my mind.
I'd imagine if Red Rain goes out on tour, Sammy starts out with a like a Neil Peart size kit and comes back with a bass drum, a snare, and a cymbal.
Yeah, it takes an hour just to pack the kit away.
But he has to sell it off to eat every day, so he comes back with like 3 drums and 1 stick.
Right.
Breaks in half so he can play.
Sure.
Yeah, it would be tough. It's definitely hard, man. It's fucking ridiculous.
It is. I agree. It's not the same. It's not like it used to be years ago when there was a A&R team and there was artist development and all that kind of stuff. It's just not the same anymore.
And what makes it the saddest of all is that the fucking tickets that you're paying, even a Hailstorm, you're paying $40-$50 a ticket.
Right.
You can't pay the band 20% of that?
Nope.
The opening band? That's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
But it's the way it is.
I agree.
And I guess you can't really blame Hailstorm. Why the fuck would they care?
Yeah, they had to struggle too.
Yeah, and as far as they're concerned, they don't really need that. They don't really need an opener. They'll just go out, play their set, and be done at 9:15.
Sure.
I'm sure they wouldn't care. Opening bands are for the clubs. That's really that's what an opening band. I mean, in the biggest picture, I guess the opening band is for the entertainment value. That's the line of shit they'll feed you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be real. In today's world, the opening bands are for one reason and one reason only: to sell beer. Sell beer, to sell nachos before the main band comes on.
Right.
To generate. And I guarantee, I don't know this for a fact, but I would still guarantee it, that every band or every venue has that figured out. If we start playing bands at 7 o'clock, we're going to sell this much beer before 9:45 when the headliner comes on.
Unless, of course, the opening band is a local band and they require them to sell tickets.
Yeah, but in that case, that makes up for the beer that they won't sell.
True, that's what I'm saying. Your former friend who's passed away, Mitch Krzyzewski.
Yeah,
he was a master at getting half a dozen bands on a bill, and they all had to sell X amount of tickets.
Dude, and the funniest thing was Mitch was the best at convincing bands that how this was going to be their big break. He would tell, and it would be for fucking just dog shit shows. He'd be like, dude, I just got to tell you, if your band only sells 10 or sells 200 tickets, just 200 tickets to your friends, you guys are going to get signed off this internal bleeding opening slot.
Sure.
It would be just the most ridiculous show ever. It'd be like, yeah, dude, I mean, come on. Dying fetus and an immolation? If you're opening for that, how are you not going to get discovered?
Right.
It's like, really, Mitch? I used to say to him all the time when we shared an office, I'd be like, dude, why are you fucking these guys like that? And he was like, shh.
Yeah.
I don't care, and that's such a misnomer that most bands, especially when they're young, believe that if they're a fan of the band, they're willing to do anything.
Sure.
If you're a fan of Testament and you can open for Testament, sure, I'll sell 500 tickets. Look at stupid Randy.
Yeah, I know. He paid $3,000 to open for CC DeVille.
CC DeVille.
And he had to travel to Harpo's in Detroit to do it.
But he didn't sell one fucking ticket. He just said, yeah, I'll sell whatever it was. It was like 200 tickets, right, or something?
Yeah, and he just paid it.
He just paid it. I think he took a loan, didn't he?
I don't know where he got the money from, but he paid $3,000. I said, and I remember when he told me he did that. Yeah. And I said, that's probably all they're paying CC DeVille. So you basically paid Harpo's to have CC DeVille, and you got to open for nothing.
Yeah. He could have taken half of that and played the club down the street.
Sure.
Without even having a booking problem. If he would have walked into whatever club is near Harpo's and said, I'll give you $1,500 for Tuesday night, they'd open the fucking door for him.
Sure.
Here, come on in, sir.
Right. CC DeVille.
Randy did some stupid shit.
Well, he was so desperate to make it, though.
But he was another one of those guys, man. He was another one of those guys that bought into, well, I'm a fan, so being somehow associated is going to make me popular.
Right.
Dude, the way he chased around Sebastian Bach.
Oh, my God.
Jesus Christ. And for what reason? Because he thought that by being associated with a Sebastian Bach, that every fan of Sebastian Bach would buy his shit.
Sure.
And I would bet not 10 Sebastian Bach fans ever bought a Wicked Heart disc.
I doubt it.
And boy, were they smart. Oof.